Okay, so here we go with the unboxing of the Cuddeback Cuddelink G-5079 camera. Just purchased these last week. We have 6 of them. 5 are already opened. I'll go ahead and open the 6th one here so you can see what comes in the box. Obviously the camera, pretty good sized camera. Flash, control panel, sensor, and the lens, antenna, mounting bracket, tree strap, and instructions. So that's what's in the box, which I'm sure is surprising to you. Go over the camera real quick since there aren't a lot of reviews on these. They're fairly expensive, and so people want to know, what they're getting before they get one. So I thought I would do a quick overview and my initial impressions on these cameras. I have a fair amount of experience using trail cameras. I use about 12 of these Browning BTC 6 HDE cameras is what they are. These are my primary camera, about $140 a piece, and I've been very happy with those. Very good cameras. Before that I was using the Moultrie 880s. Pretty good camera. Had some issues with them, but they're pretty solid. One of the biggest issues is the size. You can see the Brownings are quite a bit smaller, which I like because we're using these to target our wood thieves on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State. So it makes them easier to hide. Anyway, back to the Cuddebacks. Pretty straightforward. Antenna screws in to this port here. Batteries go in the back. Everything opens and closes with these brass thumb screws, which is pretty nice. You don't need any tools, take anything apart, and they feel pretty solid. So that opens up, and there's your 4 D-cell batteries go back there. If I had any complaints about this, it would be this top thumb screw here is just a little bit tight to the bracket. It makes it tough to get your finger, get a good purchase on it, but that's a minor complaint. Overall, I like these. I feel like they lock it down pretty tight. They have O-rings, so I'm hoping the water resistance is good because it rains a lot here. The SD card is in the bottom of the unit. Again, another thumb screw. This one I don't like. It's recessed, so it's flush with the bottom of the unit here. It does have this little D-ring handle thing that hangs down, but unless the unit's sitting vertical, it's kind of tough to grab onto. So I would prefer kind of this style of screw here, where you can get a hold of it better. USB port, SD card goes in there. Nothing groundbreaking there. Auxiliary power port if needed. We won't be using that. Has kind of a rubbery tip that goes in there to seal out the moisture. The controls on these seem pretty straightforward, so I'll grab one that already has batteries in it. This front panel pops open. It's kind of a tight seal, but that's good obviously to keep moisture out. Turns on. The mode button scrolls across the menus up here. So pretty straightforward there. When you get to the menu you want, you hit the mode button or the more button, and that takes you inside that menu. And then the up and down buttons here. Select what you want. Like any trail camera, there's about a 5-minute learning curve. You mess around with it and you get used to it, and off you go. So not rocket science, nothing terribly difficult there. Turn the unit off, and there you go. So this door, I don't know, it kind of gets in the way. It wants to spring back into you, but it's pretty easy to hold back with one hand. But I think I probably prefer the doors on the older style cameras that when you open them up, they stay open. But I've done some research on the Cuddebacks, and it seems like they have made the changes they've made with purpose. So they feel like this is a more durable style door, from what I understand, and so we'll give that a shot and see what we think. These cameras can be supposedly a quarter-mile apart in heavy timber, which is what we're going to be in, mountainous areas, heavy timber, lots of brush, things like that. And so, you know, in theory, with 6 of them, we should be able to span about 1.5 miles, and then those can talk to the home unit here. The home unit is not a camera in this case. I'm going to hide it off-site, so all of these cameras can talk to it. It's going to send the signal or send the pictures to my cell phone. So if we do get hits on our theft sites, we can respond accordingly. This is the exact same size as the cameras. Controls are very similar. Obviously the only difference is it has a couple more antennas for the cellular capabilities, and it doesn't have the camera. So I think that's about it. We'll put these into service here in the next few weeks, and we'll give them a good go. I probably won't have much for nighttime images, because when I hide these, the thieves are getting pretty good at finding our cameras, which is one reason we went to the cellular cameras and to the multiple camera system. So even if they find 1 or 2, we still have, you know, however many more we've deployed. But I'll typically hide the flash and everything, so the only thing that'll be exposed will be the lens and the trip. And the trip is interesting on these. You can set it to a narrow field of view, or you can slide this little plastic piece down, and that gives you a wider field of view. So depending on what area you're monitoring, you can adjust that to suit your needs. Real simple, you know, piece of plastic there that actually, you know, may prove useful. So again, these are pretty big cameras in comparison, again, to the Moultrie 880s. Quite a bit taller and way heavier with the D-cell batteries, and then obviously the antenna adds quite a bit of height. You know, they're pretty similar in depth, and the Moultrie is actually a little bit wider. They're way bigger than the Brownings that I have been using, and so it'll take a little bit of effort to conceal them, but that's okay. That's part of the fun. So we'll put these out. We'll try to catch some thieves. Excuse me. I'll report back in a few weeks, or probably a few months, with some first impressions, things like battery life, picture quality. We're heading into our rainy season right now. Today's October 30th, and so the next 6 months or so we're going to get a lot of rain, and these are going to be wet for most of that time. So it'll be a good test of the cameras. And this isn't a review that's paid for by Cuddeback or anything, so I'll give good, honest feedback, because I know these are expensive. These are $285 a piece. The home unit was $200 because we bought the one that didn't have the camera. So, you know, almost $2,000 invested into these, and I know for those of you who are thinking about making this purchase, that's a big investment. You start adding batteries and SD cards and things of that nature. And the cost gets up there pretty quick. So I'll give you my honest feedback in a few months. Check back with us, and appreciate you watching. Comment below if you have any questions.